My name is Emily. Welcome back to my channel, and I am talking about prepping WFS shipments today. And I love WFS. If there's something right now that I'm excited about doing as far as my job and work, it is WFS. I don't mind prepping, and there are some differences if you're coming from Amazon, and this is what you need to know to be successful at it. Let's go. As far as actually prepping the product, very similar to an FBA shipment. I have these poly bags here. They are self-seal and they have the suffocation warning on them. So if I have a product that's not fully boxed in, I'm going to wrap it in this. I like to do close, and so I tend to have to prep all of my products. I just make sure that, let me find something. I have something. Okay, it looks like this, bagged. And you can see the UPC is on the tag from the product, so I do not have to add another label to this. Yes, that is right, and this is why we love Walmart and WFS right now, is because you are used to coming from Amazon and you have to bag and then label all of your products. You don't have to label all of your products on Walmart. Now, does this mean they commingle? They tell me they don't, but do I believe them fully? No, not really. They showed me the system, they told me about it, but I guess I need to see it in person to actually truly believe it. But right now, you do not have to label your products. It's just bagging. And then if they can scan the UPC, the barcode, and it pulls up to the listing you want to sell on, you are good to go. Now, if for some weird reason, when you scan this barcode, it does not attach to the Walmart listing you want to sell on, that is when you would have to print off a new barcode and attach it. That would be the case on multi-packs. Any listings you create that are not attached to the UPC in their system are not pulling up correctly. So keep that in mind. But basic thing you need to know is bag it if it is not fully boxed, or if it could spill, if there's anything, and there are spills that happen, boxes break open. So really, if I'm doing food or anything that could stain, I also bag a lot of that stuff as well, just in case one does break open, it doesn't ruin everything else in the box. The nice thing is, if I have a product that really doesn't need to be prepped as far as taking off a clearance sticker or poly bag, it is going straight in a Walmart box and getting out the door. Very, very little prep, and I love that about this platform. Even mixing SKUs, doing a multi-pack of different items, from toys to clothes to shoes to whatever it is in the box, it is very easy, efficient, and cheap to get those shipments out the door. The other interesting thing, besides like putting anything you want in a box and getting it out, and it is very cheap to get products out, is you can ship to WFS what they considered standard size is anything up to 150 pounds, which is crazy. Which, like, I'm not sending a box that's 150 pounds because I can't lift that, but also it can be pretty big. So up to 180 inches. So, I mean, I have shipped so much FBA in. I'm always like in this box size, the same box size, and usually like 30 to 50 pounds max. But on Walmart, you can send in a huge box if you want. Some of the things you're gonna wanna remember is Walmart is sticklers about their expiration dates, as they should be. So if you are sending food products at all, you should put a visible sticker on the outside of the package that tells when the expiration date is. I do this even if the expiration date is visible, because I've had so many times when sent products in and they're like, we can't see the expiration date, and throw it away, or I have to have it returned to me, and all the other issues. So add an expiration date to food items all the time. I've also had several cases where they've received my shipment and some of it's damaged. They say it was damaged when it got there, maybe when they're cutting open the box. Crazy thing is, I was refunded the sales price of that product. Moment of silence, because that's pretty awesome. All the times Amazon has lost and damaged product, and what they give me pennies. And the fact that I freaking sold that stuff to, or they paid me out probably more than I would have sold it for per unit, is incredible. It was easy. I didn't even have to open a case. They sent me an email and they're like, hey, this was damaged. We're gonna send it back to you because that's how I have my return settings, and we're gonna pay you $160. That was the sales price of all of my product. I'll take it, thank you, yes. I do have all of my WFS returns coming back to me. I do not let them decide if it should be thrown away or resold. If it could be sold again, if they determine it can be sold again, it will go back into my catalog. But if they are not sure or they think it should be thrown away, all of that stuff comes back to me. And you would be surprised how many things that they deem not sellable comes back to me, tagged, bagged, never used, and they would have thrown it away. So I'm really picky on that stuff, that it comes back, I process it and figure out what to do with it. Sometimes it's not always just to send it back in because I'm already out so much money on that product. But some cases I am just literally, I have returns here I've been processing in the bag, still goes straight back in the box and out the door again. And so if you don't already do this, go into your return settings and make sure it's set to come back to you, because at one point it was automatically set to let them decide what to do with it. I know WFS is new for sellers, but especially if you've been shipping on eBay or Amazon for any length of time, it is really no problem. The hardest part of this is getting each item into your catalog. That's what takes the longest amount of time, because all of the steps that takes, like to type it in and then wait for it to get there, and then sometimes you have to transfer it to WFS, and then there's glitches and on and on. Once it's there, the actual process to put a shipment together, so straightforward. I usually send 20-pound boxes out and I'm paying about $7 a box, sometimes less. And I feel like that's super affordable. There's no placement fees. Remember, Walmart does not charge monthly fees to sell on the platform. So all of that added together is such a good deal. I don't know why. I do know why. I do know why sellers aren't taking advantage more of the WFS program. However, as I say that, I know why. You're kind of taking a risk over here because there's not a lot of data available. So when you send products in, sometimes you find in after it was checked in, oh, there's an error. They want more CPC documents. There's issues with the shipment. You didn't know that this you need to get ungated in. All of those little things definitely pop up. But I was talking to Walmart and I asked them, like, because it was about running ads. And I was asking them, like, where's the data to know that this listing, this product is going to be successful on the platform? And they were basically like, what you see is what you get. There's nothing else hidden. They don't have anything on their end to help you. So I know that is like a huge risk. If you're bringing your product from Amazon to Walmart without data there, that's a huge risk, because just because it's selling on Amazon is not necessarily mean it's going to be selling on Walmart. It's a different customer base depending on what the product is. So I can see the hesitancy. Also, hands off on returns. It is all on Walmart's shoulders, and returns are easier than ever at Walmart. You and I, we have a Walmart on every corner here. So our returns are so easy on this platform that I am really careful what I send in here, because things happen, people are taking advantage, buyers are taking advantage of the return policy. And then, like, you could have a return policy set up in your account, but does the 16-year-old kid working behind the counter in Kentucky, I don't know what they see when they scan that product to know this isn't supposed to be returned via their policy. Can we have like all of those little intricacies? I think that's why things fall through the cracks. They do have a keep it rule, which basically, like, you say if this is under $15, I just want the buyer to keep it because I don't want to have to pay return shipping and be out more money. Now, I've heard tons of sellers say this does not work. They either don't have a keep it rule or do have a keep it rule, and it's still like not being really put into effect. So I can imagine there's just so many moving pieces with stores, actual physical residents, and an online and third parties. Like, that's a lot of policies happening for somebody random who doesn't know about e-commerce and third-party sellers to keep track of. So I would say that is like a lump of all of the WFS issues really quickly that can happen. Of course, there's other things in the mixer that happen that you're probably very familiar with, like things that happen on Amazon, but I love WFS. I have really focused the past year and a half to send inventory in this way. I still have a ton of hiccups, tons of issues that I'm still trying to get sorted, and you'll hear me complain over and over about it. But if you are not sending inventory in yet, what are you doing? What are you doing? If you have not set up WFS in your Walmart seller account, you may need to do this. Interesting enough, I work with a lot of sellers. Some of them they're enrolled in WFS, they can immediately start sending in products, and others like myself, I'd been selling on Walmart for like a year and then decided to start sending inventory in, and I had to like reapply, set up bank account information, a place that returns was gonna go. Like felt like starting from scratch again. So make sure you're completely enrolled in WFS, which means setting up a bank account, figuring out where returns are gonna go. Once you are all enrolled, you can start sending your inventory pretty much immediately. So I love this for new sellers, especially because you can get in a Walmart account, enroll in WFS, and in 30 days be selling product and hopefully making a profit, which it's kind of unheard of right now on Amazon. So that's really the first step. Once you're up and going, here's really what I use to complete a WFS shipment. I have boxes from Walmart and Menards here. They're bigger boxes. I tend to get stuff that I can move easily, so I'm not getting any Mondo extra large boxes, just things that I know like up to 25, 30 pounds. I can move that around on my own. The second thing is 3-inch tape. I've been doing this a long time. I do a lot of merchant orders and FBA, WFS. I've done it all, and I love this tape. I get it locally, and interesting though, there's different like thickness to this clear tape. So I don't know what thickness this is, but it works really well. People have told me forever, you need paper tape. I just don't want to pay for paper tape. The other thing I have a lot of everywhere in every corner of my house, poly bags. You know you're a reseller if you have poly bags all over your house. All the sizes. There's multi-packs on Amazon. Of course, there are brands that I love more than others. I've tried them all at this point. I kind of like dialed in what I like, so when it goes on sale on Amazon or from my favorite places, like the Boxery has sales on all of the things, I make sure I stock up. I also have a thermal printer. I swear by thermal printers. I could not imagine using a desktop at this point, but I guess if you're just sending WFS and you don't have a thermal printer yet, it's really not the end of the world because you're just printing out 2 labels for your boxes. So the thermal printer for my bigger 4x6 labels, and I also have a Dymo label writer 450 that's like for the small UPCs that I can put on bags. Those definitely, I'm glad I have that available to me. 2 other things that I have here on my desk that I would not complete a shipment without. The first is a scale. I have a floor scale, definitely makes it helpful when I'm moving boxes around. And I have a measuring tape. Those are the 2 pieces of information you need to complete a shipment. Weight of the box and dimensions. So just make sure you have all the pieces here before you start the shipment, so you're not like starting and stop. Listen, I hope you're walking away from this video and not like feeling more overwhelmed and stressed by this process, because the first time, yeah, it feels a little bit complicated, but then after that, easy peasy. You are gonna be sitting in all the inventory. My favorite is Walmart to Walmart flips. I've been dominating this. I love it. Does that mean I'm making millions? Am I rich yet? I don't think so, but I'm having fun. I'm making money, so okay, I'm not gonna complain today, but maybe tomorrow. Thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful. If you liked it, share it with your friends. Like it. Bye.